Picture it, Motown-era Detroit, a young woman trying to find her way through the urban unrest of a journey to reveal and realize her full potential as one of Advertising Age magazine's 100 best and brightest. No, it's not a hit gospel stage play, just a small peek inside the life of Valerie Graves. Pressure Makes Diamonds, Becoming the Woman I Pretended to Be, is the story of her life so far. We want to welcome her to BK Live. Valerie, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Happy to be here.
Well, Regina Brooks is the agent who helped bring pressure to the people. She's the founder of Serendipity Literary Agency, where she helps bring diverse, award-winning, I'll have you know, voices to the world. Welcome to BK Live.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Happy to have you.
Valerie, let's start with you. Pressure Makes Diamonds. What was it about your life that you wanted to get out and put into this memoir that you've created?
You know, a long time ago, one of my clients said to me, come on, Valerie, you're not really black. You're a big-time advertising executive. You got that office. You got to be making a lot of money. And I thought at the time, what this guy does not know about me and what it means to be black in advertising, to be black in America, could fill a book. And that's what this book is. It's about the journey of someone who kind of brushed up against a lot of the major issues facing African Americans today. I was a teenage parent. I was not unfamiliar with incarceration. There were people in my family who deservedly and undeservedly were locked up. And I just wrote this to kind of tell that story, set the record straight, let people like him know that the person sitting across from you at that high-level conference table may be a completely different person than you really think you're dealing with, or may have come from somewhere that you know very little about.
But then out loud you said, I want to get into the code switch. How did you make this apparent to that person in your office before you wrote the book?
Oh man, I was born a code switcher. Are you kidding? Coming out of the projects, but early on, because I was this verbal little kid learning that there was this thing called Standard English, which my mother basically spoke, by the way, I was code switching right from the start. You know, I could go from talking to the teachers to talking to the kids on the block.
Gotcha.
Regina. Go ahead, Brian.
I know. I'm asking the question that I imagine is on your mind. You get a volume of things that you pour through. What was it that sparked you to say, this is the book for a time that we're in now, and we should push this out?
Well, one of the things that I want to make clear is, yes, I'm a literary agent, but I'm also a co-publisher of Open Lens, which is an imprint of Akashic Books. And Valerie is one of our authors under that imprint. So Pressure Makes Diamonds was a project that my colleague brought to us, and we were so excited about the project, both the story and Valerie. So one of the reasons why we started Open Lens, it's a small imprint, is because we wanted to make sure that we told stories of people who weren't getting opportunities with the major houses. So it's funny, you know, when we think about Hidden Figures, I always say, you know, we are the publisher to really bring some of these hidden figures out. And Valerie is definitely one of those.
So in addition to that, what do you see as some of the other main goals of publishing in kind of this digital age that we live in?
Oh, main goals. I mean, I guess the thing is, you know, the industry, I've been in publishing for 22 years, and I've seen so much change. Lots of publishers before, and we're now down to 5 major ones. And as a result, it creates opportunity for a lot of smaller publishers to create content for people to put out in the world. And that content doesn't necessarily have to be in the print form anymore. It can be in an electronic book. So so many people are publishing books. And I think, you know, it's a good thing because a lot of people weren't able to tell their stories before.
So speaking of telling their stories, Valerie, I wanted to ask you, how do you think your life story so far, as it fits into this book, fits into the larger landscape now? Like, from knowing that you were a code switcher early on up until Michelle Obama showed the world a different face of women of color, like, where do you see yourself in that landscape?
Where the Michelle Obama was almost a quote from the book.
Yeah.
Because little girls like Michelle Obama would have been thought to be science fiction, you know, when I was a child, or even grown women like Michelle Obama. So I think that the story is still very timely. There are still little girls in neighborhoods like the one that I grew up in who are imagining lives, and that's the subtitle of the book is Becoming the Woman I Pretended to Be. I had to sort of make myself up and grow into that picture of a person, and I think that is sort of universal, and it is still timely, and it probably always will be.
Can I ask one thing? Who was an example for you? Did you have a light that you sort of let shine on you, whether she was Black or otherwise? Someone, even though she was out there, you were aspirational towards?
At the time in my life when I needed her most, Maya Angelou showed up with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. There are a lot of similarities in our lives from the fact that both of us were teenage parents and gave birth really at the same age, 16, and kind of had to find our way past that, to the fact that she was this creative fool. And I really needed that in my life too, to understand that to do something creative with your life often requires the willingness to just make a fool of yourself.
Right.
And Maya gave that to me, just when I needed it.
That's excellent. Let's talk about these other books that are here. Regina, what is writing great books for young adults? We also have You Should Really Write a Book. There's a lot of encouragement going on at the table. We like it.
It's funny. The book, You Should Really Write a Book, How to Write, Sell, and Market Your Memoir, was born out of the idea that, you know, any given Sunday, you can be sitting with friends telling them a story at brunch, and someone will say to you, oh my God, you should really write a book. That is a book. And it kind of was, you know, the idea as a literary agent, I get so many stories. And if you were pitching a story to me, say, I don't know, about breast cancer recovery, and I was at a conference and you were pitching this story, I may have heard 10 other people pitch a similar story. And so I have figured, how can I help people figure out how to make their book stand out? You need 3 things to be able to write a memoir. You need a really good hook.
Let me write these down.
Yeah, write it down.
It's all in the book. Oh, right. It's been written.
You need a really good hook. You need to have really stunning writing, and you need to have a platform. And so a lot of people will come to me and they'll have 2 out of the 3, but they won't have that 3rd thing.
What's a platform?
Oh, a platform. A platform is saying that, you know, you have an audience of people out there who are hungry to hear your story, and once the book gets published, they're interested in buying the book.
Gotcha.
So you can be an expert on something, but not have an audience.
Yeah, get your network
Yeah, it's the
together.
network, it's social media, it's having people.
So Greg has a question, but I just want to like sneak one thing in,
Sure.
like talking about these building your platform and
Yeah.
network. What about all the people who give everything away on the blogs? Because you could have put all this away, and like ain't nobody gonna buy your book. You told me your whole life story for free on the internets. So how do you build a platform without cannibalizing your potential audience as well?
Well, the thing about it is, you know, Instagram is about images for
Right.
the most part. Twitter is 140 characters, so you're not really going to tell that.
away,
Yeah. And when we talk about platform, yes, a blog can be a part of the platform, but we're looking at Twitter numbers,
Gotcha.
Instagram numbers,
Okay.
social media numbers. They say that about maybe 10 to 20% of the people that read, that go on your Twitter and so forth, will buy your book.
Okay.
So we want these huge numbers.
numbers up.
Yeah, the numbers need to be really high. And so the idea of the book was to help people understand that it's not about the fact that your story is not good enough. There are other aspects that are necessary in order for you to get to do a commercially viable book.
Gotcha.
So, Valerie, in our final minute, we want to ask you what your advice for writers would be. Maybe not just from your experience writing the book, but from your whole life experiences.
Right?
Right.
Right.
Writer's rights.
Yes, writer's right. I've been a writer of some sort my whole life. And I think after many years spent in advertising, I had begun to question whether I was capable of writing anything longer than a block of copy or a 30-second TV spot. And to do this, and my husband, bless his heart, said, oh, write it. You already know this story. And that made it easier for me to do this. My next challenge as a writer is to write that next book, because I hope and believe that I have something more to say. You know, but my advice to anyone who wants to assume that mantle of writer is that the only thing you have to do is write.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Valerie, Regina. Pressure Makes Diamonds is the book. Thank you very much for getting your story out there, and just thank you both for being here. It's an honor to meet
Glad
you
to
and
have
have
Thank you
here.
for having
Thank you so
Of
much.
course, yes, our pleasure.